By this point, you might have heard of this anti-EV propaganda, I would say, paid for by Exxon Mobil, a subsidiary of Mobil One. They're obviously a bit concerned because they are doing very well this last few years. If you look at their share price, it's rocketed quite a bit. They have a fair bit to lose when EVs are more commonplace. That is quite clear. And as we can see, Mobil One make automotive lubricants. There's a few things I want to cover here, so just before I get into it, I just want to jump in for 1 second and say thank you very much to anybody that has joined on Patreon or YouTube memberships, or anybody that has bought me a coffee. Links to these are in the description below. They're about $3 each or so, and it enables me to do what I love doing the most, making these videos every single day. This takes a huge amount of time through really thorough research, and I just want to make sure that I'm getting you accurate, fact-checked, highly evidenced information. So that may not be available in the mainstream media. So that's kind of why that's one of my big goals. They have been misrepresenting EVs, trying to create skepticism about their viability as an alternative to internal combustion engine vehicles. But of course, EV technology has vastly improved. Charging infrastructure is way better than it ever has been globally, even though it is still a pain sometimes, I know, to carry all the cards and everything. And overall convenience is great for most people. And I think people generally don't buy an EV that can only do 100 miles if they need to do 200 miles every day. They generally won't be doing this. But if you look closely in the advert, they've actually gotten some kids to be a part of this, which I think is borderline criminal. The world is undergoing major change to clean up the air that we breathe in, especially densely populated areas, and trying to help the Earth's climate after this rush of damage that we've done this last 150 years. And we're generally doing this, initially for the next generation, of course. So to counter that narrative these days, I think, is moronic and frankly disgusting. ExxonMobil recently carried out a low-profile trial, that's what they call it, for an advertisement linked to its Mobil One brand, focusing on the perceived downside, or downsides, of electrification, they say. The commercial exclusively at first aired on the History Channel, and at this stage it portrayed electric vehicles as burdensome, depicting them being tied to numerous cords as a symbol of limitations, basically. On the other hand, the ad suggests, and this is the real crime here, it suggests that true freedom and liberation can only be experienced through driving a combustion engine car, which is, I'm afraid, laughable. The tagline is, "Disconnecting feels a lot like breaking free," and it subtly implies that EVs are synonymous with constraints and inconvenience. That's how I interpret that. I've been saying this for some years now, for probably like 8, 9, 10 years, but internal combustion engine vehicles are Victorian technology with pistons, cranks, and cogs. These days, there is no need to keep things as they are, because we know for a fact that the gases and the particulates from these vehicles cause cancer, and all sorts of cancer too. It's crucial to acknowledge that public attitudes towards EVs vary a lot, and opinions and experiences differ among different individuals, of course, different countries, different cities, different places. Some people may have faced challenges with EV charging, maybe back in 2012 if they bought a Nissan Leaf, for example. Others have had a really nice positive experience. Maybe their first car was like a Tesla with a big range, for example. That can't possibly be a tragic experience, right? Especially as charging infrastructure is continuing to grow and expand, improve. The overall perception of EVs, though, is influenced by a combination of different factors, including advertising, messaging, charging infrastructure, availability, and individual perspectives on, I suppose, potential ownership or ownership burdens of having an EV. Things that we hear when we are out and about, I think, is a massive deal. Addressing the challenges related to charging and enhancing the overall experience can lead to increased acceptance and probably satisfaction among consumers, people that buy them. So with this being said, you can see why one of my many goals with this channel is to spread positive and factual information to encourage the uptake of EVs. And this is exactly why. So in a way, this video serves, I guess, as an advert for my channel, doesn't it? As for the Exxon ad, it attempts to portray EVs negatively, obviously, by associating them with limitations and inconvenience. And that's clearly an indication as to the level of the brain's trust that they have there at Exxon. However, emotions evoked by the ad may vary depending on the individual's. That's Mimi the cat. He's actually the neighbour's cat. He just comes around and stays and sleeps on that chair, usually in my videos if you haven't seen some of my older videos. However, emotions evoked by the ad may vary depending on the individual's existing beliefs about EVs, probably. EV sales are influenced by various aspects such as government incentives, pricing, range capabilities, charging infrastructure, and brand reputation, and most likely word of mouth will be one of the big factors for a huge amount of people, I suspect. Tesla's success in the EV market can be attributed to different factors, including their early entry into the market, strong brand image, they're really good, cutting edge technology, extensive supercharger network, and it's also interesting to note that they didn't pay for advertising. I think it was until this year. I don't know the exact month. Other car manufacturers are gradually catching up and investing in EV development, and as charging infrastructure improves, consumer confidence in EVs is expected to grow, which is most likely why Exxon paid for this advert to thwart progress. And in this past 2 to 3 years, companies like BYD have been absolutely nailing EVs, really doing really well, selling huge amounts, and other Chinese brands as well are doing very, very well too, like MG, for example. There's little that you can do if you sell lubricants for conventional cars, and they can take a faster run at a brick wall, so to speak, but it's still a brick wall that they're going to hit. The key to fostering greater EV acceptance, I think, lies in addressing charging challenges, enhancing overall EV ownership experiences. And I think the manufacturers are doing this, certainly in the UK, when they say by 2030 they're hoping to tenfold the amount of public chargers in the UK. As more consumers are getting more confident in EVs, in the market, in the infrastructure, the sales will continue. EV sales will grow, of course, and the transition to sustainable transportation, or more sustainable transportation, will get more momentum. And that benefits general consumers and the environment, basically, therefore the next generation. And I've popped in the advert in a link in the description for those of you that are interested in watching it. If you enjoyed the video, then please click the like button for me so that YouTube know that people are enjoying it, and subscribe for more daily videos about electric vehicles.